No.
Yes, I did. I sent to Ram.
Okay.
Okay,
I
all right.
think I have to send it.
Okay, so maybe before end of the session, I'll send you again. Okay, today.
Okay.
Okay. So, okay, we're talking about EDI, right? What is EDI? EDI stands for Electronic Data Interchange. Okay. So, see, yesterday we spoke about various players in the industry, right? You have payer, provider, patient, etc. So the information has to be sent from one party to another, right? Okay, so little bit history. It started in 1960s. Okay, but real rules were made in 1980s, almost 87, 88, and most of the things that we did in 87, 88, those things are still in progress, and there will be some improvements. But okay, that is about it. Okay, so what happens here? Okay, how does what's the need of EDI? Okay, now hospital may have different kind of system. Okay, different kind of database might have different tables, different software they can use, right? And your, let's say, payer will have different software, isn't it, to handle it. But when hospital sends the request, okay, the insurance provider should know exactly what is the request for, right? Which field is what, right? Which is the patient name, which is patient phone number, what is the treatment code, what is the amount, okay? All those things should be read by the, right? Now let's say if we speak different languages, right? How will you know what I am saying and how will I know what you are saying, isn't it? So you need to have some kind of standard, okay? So that, let's say English is standard, right? So whatever information I'm sending in English so that you are, okay, we both know the language. So in software world, when you send this information, right, we have different types of uh, document type, right? JPEG, PNG, DOC, when DOC is Word document, then you have JSON, CSV, Excel. These are nothing but the standard of, okay, a standard of sending information. If I want to send you an image, okay, I can send you in JPEG or PNG, right? And this is that's the standard, right? So when I create a JPEG or I send the JPEG, my laptop, okay, is also able to read it, and your laptop will also be able to read it, right? The software that you have, like you talk about Paint or any image viewer, they are written to accept, they are written to read these standards like PNG and JPEG. What's the purpose? Purpose is that, okay, that we know, or when you want to transfer these images, okay, I don't have to ask you which format do you want, right? I may not have that format, right? You were using your own format, abc.abcd, I'm using .xyz. Then how can I send you something and you can look at it, right? So we create these standard file formats, okay? So EDI is also a format, international format, in which not only healthcare, okay, it is used in variety of fields, like healthcare, of course, is one important. Anywhere you see where two different companies, two different systems has to talk, right? Wherever you have more than one companies interacting, you need this kind of, see, when it is on your machine, then you can design whatever way you want, right? I can create ABCD file and I can open ABCD file on my machine. But whenever I have to communicate, if I have to send you something, right, that's when this comes into picture, right? So now let's say, hospital wants to send a specific request. First of all, the insurance company needs to know what kind of information is being sent to them, right? Is it for information? Is it for asking for payment? Is it for, it's for what, right? So you have form number, right? When you go and, you apply for, say, passport, or you apply for driving license, or you apply for some kind of government document. So there's a form that is there, right? And that form is, it's like a standard form. Why don't you take up a white paper and you fill in the information and give it to the department? Let's say you want driving license, so you take a white form and you give all the information, right? That is not accepted. Okay, whether it is paper based, okay, or now all these are online. So online also they'll give you a form, right? That's the purpose of the form, to fill so that you know what information you need to fill, and the reader, the company that is processing, also knows which field to expect what. Okay. So that form is a format, right? You have form 1A, 1B, right? Because when you say driving license form 1A, right, the department people knows, okay, 1A means this is why you want, right? Let's say the form to apply for a new driving license will be, of course, different than the one that you need to fill for making changes to the form. Let's say your name is wrong or some, so the form that you will fill will be different, isn't it? So every form has a number, right? So here also we have a form. Every form, okay, has a number. Okay. Now, and the content should also be standard. So EDI, okay, is a standard which helps in electronic data interchange. Okay, interchange between two different companies. Okay, so there are different ways as the internet has evolved, right, or the communication has evolved. There are different types. I'm not getting into it. These are more like a history. You can read it. It is like earlier it was more of point to point. Okay, now it has moved, and you have different softwares that implements, okay, the using internet, right? So now even you have mobile EDI, right? So you can send information through mobile as well, right? So mobile needs different kind of interaction, right? The number of forms should be limited. Okay, you can't, when you the website you see, right? Website when you see on phone and laptop will be different, right? Because the screen is different. Okay, in laptop you have more spaces, right? So as a designer, you could use that much of real estate, right, on laptop, but on phone you have limited screen size. So the way you will probably develop your software will be different. So you have earlier, we had this EDI transfer via FTP or SFTP, secured file transfer protocol, or sending through mobile, or you outside to some companies. So some companies are designed to perform these interchanges. So you don't want to install any software. Okay. So instead you say, I don't want to install any software. Company A, please manage all my communication. You just give me the payment, right? Everything else is managed by them. Of course, they'll charge you 5%, 2%, 1% of the transaction amount, which is okay for you. It is easier because you don't have to spend money on your infrastructure, or you have to have hire people to manage that. Okay, so this is how that's the purpose and how companies have created this interchange. Okay, or the process of interchange of information. If you look at I'm going to show you an example, and also I'm going to give you a YouTube link where you can watch it later. Okay, it will explain you in every detail. We don't have to get into every detail because you will not be creating those things. Okay, but okay, in this sense, sorry, you will be creating those things, but what I mean to say is you will not be writing it. You have software that will do it. Okay, you don't have to you need to know the technicalities of it. Okay, you'll have software that will manage. You just need to fill up the form and everything else. Like for example, when you let's say you perform you want to transfer money to another account. Okay? You log to your bank account to your phone and you make a payment. How is that information, okay, So in that case, you're talking about your account number, the amount that you want to transfer, the other person's account number, their bank number, bank details, the multiple information that needs to be sent to the bank. Okay, and then bank will take that information from you and process it. True. So imagine bank probably has 8-9 fields, but here you will have 20-30 fields, right? So it becomes a little more complex, but software will handle that for us. You don't have to write it. Okay. So if you look at a transaction set, if you look at a set, right, you will have 3 hierarchies. Okay. So we call it as loop, data segment, and data element. Okay. So if you want to send, say, patient information is one loop. Okay, so it's like a header, you can say. Okay, section, subheader. So loop is your header, and it will have data segments are the fields. Okay, like name, phone number, email ID, and data element are the values. So multiple data elements could be linked to data segment, and multiple data segment could be linked to loop. Okay, so that's the structure of the EDI content.
Saurabh, can you just repeat that last part, Saurabh?
Okay, so okay, I'll show you an example, then we'll talk about it. Okay, or let's quickly go towards it.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the form. Okay, this is the form, and can we see the number here? Yeah, 835. You see this? Okay, 835 is the code. You see the 835, right?
Yeah.
835 is the code. Okay, now you see here segment detail, diagram, element detail. These are the loops. Okay, inside that you have data segment and data elements. So segment name, purpose, loop.
What do you say is a loop, Saurabh? What is a loop actually?
It's the hierarchy of presenting the information. Don't go loop doesn't mean that it is in the circle. Okay, it only means that you see here, right? Segment name, loop name. Okay, so it is a hierarchy of presenting information. Okay, loop is at a high level. Under that you have data segment, and then you have data element. Data elements are the actual values. Okay, so data elements are actual values. Data elements are grouped as data segment. Okay, so when you say financial segment, or you can have for example here only, let's see. Okay, claim level data. So claim level data will have multiple values, let's say. So these become your data element, and which is part of your data segment. Okay, and loop is a higher level. Okay, so loop can have multiple segments also. Okay, so here this is loop is 2100 claim payment information. So entire thing belongs to one loop here.
Saurabh,
yes.
What is X12 and TRT?
I'll talk about it. First, listen to what I'm saying.
Okay.
So loop is at highest level. Okay, and then you have data segment, which is like subheaders, and under that you have data elements. Okay, data elements are the actual values. So this is how. Okay, now this is a form that you will fill in. Okay, so this is for claim payment. So the finance team, okay, would fill up this form, and when you fill up this form, okay, of course, you cannot send PDF, right? Because PDF, what's the problem of sending PDF?
We can change the data in the.
Yes. So changing data is different. I mean, that's good, right? You can't change the data. That is good. What is not good is, you can't read it, okay, or you can't get the information. You have somebody, manual person, to read it, right? So this form will then get converted into the numbers like this. Okay, so this is the text data. Okay, so when this data is actually when you want to send the other one, this data is sent. And when this, so you have just like you send this data from here. Okay, so you will have a reader at the other end. Okay, you'll have reader at the other end who's going to read it and convert it back into this kind of form. Okay, so that's the purpose of EDI, to create this information. This information can easily be sent to a computer. Okay, another computer will then will be able to fetch the information from here. Okay, all the information is separated by the star. Okay, now if you see two stars together, that means this particular column, the value which is expected here is blank.
Saurabh, we can't hear you.
I'm not talking, I wanted you to see.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so this is how, I mean, of course, I've given you the link here. If you, so this link talks about this particular form itself. Okay, how this is done. But as I said, right, this is not important. Okay, you just need to know that this is how an EDI file format would look like, and this is sent. Okay, now depending upon the form number, right, who sends where. Okay, so every, okay, so now I can go up and probably talk about it. So these are form numbers. Okay, so if you can read this 834, form number 834 is benefit, enrollment, and maintenance. Okay, benefit, enrollment, and benefit and maintenance. That means when somebody wants to enroll for a benefit, you are applying for an insurance. Okay, then you will send form 834. Okay, and if you are applying for a claim, claim is also called as an counter. Okay, so if you apply for claim, okay, you will use 837 form. If you are enrolling for the insurance, you know 834 form is used. Now, okay, if you can remember these numbers, great for an interview. But if you don't remember, also it's okay, because you can refer it later. But if you can remember, that will be great. Okay, only few numbers are there, right? So 834 is used when benefit. Okay, when somebody has to enroll for a benefit. 837 is when you are applying for claim. Okay, the 835 is payment and remittance. Now you see here, 837 and 835 are related. Okay, in what way? 837 is, let's say if you want to file, if hospital wants to file for a claim, so 837 will be sent by the hospital to the insurance companies. And after processing, the insurance companies will send 835, whether it is accepted, rejected, or accepted partially, whatever it is, that information is sent to 835. So when the other system, okay, gets 835 form, it knows, okay, 835, there's somebody who wants to claim money, right? Now, after processing, okay, all the information will now be, so see, machine cannot, I mean, machine can read that, the screenshot which I shared, right, notepad, but human being cannot read that, right? So the system at the other end will be able to convert it back into the format, okay, whichever system they have, right? So that system will read. So see, let's say our mother tongue is different, let's assume, and we are using English just because for communication. So when I say something, when you hear, you will convert it back into your understanding, isn't it? Same thing happens when 835 is sent from hospital to the hospital to the insurance companies. It translates into its own system, right? It comes up on the screen and somebody has to approve it, right? So all the information is there in the format they need it. Okay, it doesn't matter in what format I sent. Okay, but it is displayed in the format they need it. Okay, the EDI does that trick. Now, when they reject or accept, so when this is submit, 835 form 835 will come to hospital. So when 835 form comes to hospital, hospital knows that, oh, somebody's claim has been accepted or rejected, whatever, right? But the insurance company has responded. Okay, so it comes to 835. Similarly, you have 811 is for premium billing. Okay, premium billing. So let's say you own a company and you have 1,000 employees. So you are now processing the premium for all the 1,000 employees. You want to pay that premium, right? So all the 1,000 information. So that loop, what I said is, each person's information will be one loop. Okay, and each person's information like name, date of birth, whatnot, all those things will go as a data segment, and the value that you will give will go as a data element. So all the 1,000 or 500 or 5,000, 10,000 information is going from company to the insurance companies. It is 811 form. Okay, and when premium payment is done, it goes as 820 to the. Okay, so sorry, so 811 is coming to the company actually, right? So you say that we have 1,000 employees. So 1,000 employees, you need to pay X amount. So they will send that billing in EDI form, right? Now 820, okay, is the premium paid. Okay, so you will say, okay, I have paid the premium, so you'll make the payment through, let's say, credit card or check. Okay, and the information is encoded in the form and sent back. Okay, now see, these forms are independent forms. You can send them through PDF also or printout also. Okay, you can obviously send it, right? But when you send it through EDI or through electronic format, then it's called EDI, right? So maybe what can happen is the billing, okay, can come as in EDI format, and payment you can send it in email, which is not an EDI, right? So in a way, email is also an EDI format, okay, but not as an EDI that we're talking about. Okay, so somebody has to read the email and then manually enter into the system. That is also possible, right? But even if you're sending manually, you have to send form 820. Okay, so when they say subject line 820, they know what the form will contain, right? But you can convert it into EDI format as well. Okay, so these are forms, and if you can remember, great. If you talk about these forms, right, your interviewer will think that wow, you know so much, right? So it's always good to flaunt your knowledge. So that's why you can refer it later. Okay. Now this
can we see the forms, so we'll know what are the extra.
Yeah, I've showed you 835, isn't it? Or you can type in Google, you'll get it. Okay. So you say healthcare 835 form, it'll give you. And the one that I showed you earlier, right? That example of 835, form number 835. Okay, maybe we'll have a look at it again. Okay, so 835. Okay, see, it says claim payment information 835. Okay, claim payment information. So now if you go up, right, it says payment and remittance advice, right? So that's the form. Now this is an example of processing an 837 form number 837. Okay, so 837, what is 837? Claim form, claim encounter. Okay, so this always coming into this. Okay, so you have provider and the payer. Who's provider?
Hospitals.
Hospital. Payer is the insurance companies, right? And you have the internet, or what you call as gateway. Gateway is like it's like your main door, right? If you have to go out from your home, you have to pass through main door, right? So every companies will have a gateway. Gateway is where all the external communication happens. And let's say somebody is trying to hack your system, you'll close the gateway. If you close the main door, nobody can enter, right? So all the communications to and fro happens from that gateway. Okay, so there will be gateway provider and gateway payer end. Okay, all the information go through gateway, and these gateways are connected to each other via internet, right? So this is an example of company Infocon. It says that you can use theirs. Now, if you see here, okay, when patient is getting admitted, it generates an EDI, okay, and it creates an eligibility inquiry form. Okay, eligibility inquiry form is called 270, form number 270. Okay, so 270 is sent. The verification, so it receives 270. So when it gets 270, it knows, oh, somebody wants to inquire. So it processes the information and sends back form number 271. So 271 is a response of inquiry. Okay, whether it is if that person is what do you call, like, they have a valid insurance with them or not, right? So information goes through 271, receives 271, then sends EDI certification request 278. Okay, now if you see here, 278 is healthcare service review. So it says that these are the things that we have reviewed, and these are the treatment that we think that we require. So 278 is sent. It sends certification back. Okay, so the response is also 278. Then sends 837 and status inquiry 276. 276 is the status. It receives 837 and sends back 277, the status. Okay, so yes or no, and then so the payment will happen later, right? So if status is rejected, you get it rejected, you don't get any payment. Otherwise, it will send the payment information via 835. So payment information is received 835. So when you see 835, it means payment has come to you. Okay, so this is an example of your payment process, how payment process happens. What are the forms that are involved? Yes?
Yeah, sir.
Okay, so so this is how the communication happens from, okay, and all this information will be sent in the same format, right, which I've said. Okay, so same thing which I said is written here, and this is an example of, okay, now one more thing which I wanted to talk about here is the architecture diagram. Okay, how does this whole thing look like? Okay, so you have this form numbers. Okay, so this is the architecture diagram. Okay, so at the bottom you have payer system. So all these things is at a payer, okay, at the insurance companies, and then these are the people who are submitting it. I told you, right? Submitting could be from the providers directly, care providers, okay, hospital or clinics. Okay, they can directly talk to payer, right? Generally, big hospitals, they'll directly talk to payers. Then you have clearing houses. I told you what are clearing houses?
Processing team.
So yeah, so clearing houses is because you have so many insurance providers, right? It is difficult for a small clinic to have interaction with all the different, have their addresses and details, right? With all the care. So what they'll do is they will tie up with clearing house. Okay, clearing house will then have, it's like intermediary between insurance companies and providers. Okay, so clearing house will have multiple insurance companies as partners and multiple providers as partners. So as a provider, you will send the request to the clearing house, and then depending upon the code of the code of the insurance provider, it will reroute that to the specific insurance companies. So the interaction to the payer system can come from providers, a clearinghouse, or from the subsidiaries, right? Or there could be some health exchanges. These are third parties designed to help the insurance providers, right? So these are people who would be interacting with insurance companies. If you see the kind of information that is being passed is eligibility one that we saw in the other example, right? It is both ways, two ways, right? So that's why you have a form 837 and return is 835, right? Then you have enrollment, which is again two ways, claims again two ways. So it sends a claim and then you have either reject or accept, right? Payments is one way only. Payer will pay the in hospital, right? The reverse payment will not happen. So payment is always one direction. And acknowledgement. So whenever you send information, it acknowledges. If you can't process, you acknowledge it, and then later you process and send the information. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So with that, we finish our EDI discussions. Okay. So you just need to know these form numbers and what kind of communication happens between them. Okay.
Sir, what about 999 form?
That is the acknowledgement validation. Okay.
Okay.
Acknowledgement. Okay. Whether it is there. And then again, the company might have different departments. So depending upon the code, it will. So this acknowledgement 999 is automatically sent from the gateway itself that we have got it. So it's an automatic email that goes. Okay. Okay. Any questions? I'll send you the document as well.
Saurav, can we do this with some real-time example or something?
See, the real-time example, I'll give you the video. Real-time example is difficult to create that kind of form and then convert, right? It doesn't make sense also because anyway we are not doing this, right? So watch this. This fellow here explains each line, so you know what each of these line means. Okay, but you're not going to do real time of this, right? You send it in the system. System will generate this. The EDI software will generate. Right? We are not going to create these documents manually. Right? And as you told, right, each hospital we have different forms. We just need to fill in the forms, right? So, I mean, this is just the screenshot of the first form, right? It will have multiple columns which you just need to fill in as per the code. Okay. So here one more thing that is important is called Icd codes, right? So treatment number, all those things. Okay. You will not be writing it manually, right? You know, this patient underwent this surgery. No, you will just put the code for that surgery, right? So again, if I have to just a second. Okay. So ICD has multiple codes. Right now, they're following ICD 11 codes. Okay. Okay. So ICD codes will have values starting with A, B, C, D. Okay. So A means it's infectious. Okay. And this is for ICD 10. Okay. K means digestive problem. J means respiratory problem. L is skin problem. Okay. And the codes are actually, okay. So for example, if you see 250.0 means it's diabetes with no complications. Okay. 530.81. It's a gastroesophageal reflux disease. GERD, we call them GERD, right? Where when you eat something, it just comes out, right, from your food pipe. So it comes back, right, to reflux. 079.99 is a virus. Okay. So you talk about ICD 9, 10. Right now, ICD 11 is actually in use. Okay, the latest one, because they keep improving, right, as they find new problems, new disease, and doctors talk in these ICD codes. I mean, not doctors in the sense that system. Okay, you just write a code and explain everything. Okay, so maybe what I'm going to do is or maybe I'll just put ICD 11 code. So you don't have to learn all those things, okay? Okay, now see this, okay? One is for parasitic disease, okay? So pneumonia, CA40, human prion disease is 8E008E0Z, okay? This is for a respiratory problem, okay? And then here also you have endocrine related problem, metabolic endocrine. Okay, so here also you have exclusion code, let's say, right? Okay, so see, so this is the code A170 to this. What is the code of here?